Hello, my brothers and sisters. I'd like to touch a little bit more on the video I made about the most beautiful angel on this earth. I'd like to touch a little bit more about what I was talking about, what I was referring to, especially when I was saying, that it's about the clothing, it's about the jewelry, it's about material things. I see that this world, the system right now, they're trying to push more and more about a person's value in this world is whatever how much material things they have, how much material things they will obtain within their existence in this world, and they're telling you even more. Do not love this person, do not be with this person, do not associate yourself with this person, do not devote yourself to a person who material gains is low within their existence and time on this planet. And I have seen this being pushed more and more in the black community. I'm gonna give you an example. I see black women are now being told, "Oh, you're more educated, and your 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 man is not an educated person, and he will drag you down. He'll pull you into uh, a stagnant lifestyle where you will not grow or develop as a person. And also, you're the most abused person on this planet." I see Black Hollywood pushing that, and I know that the people in charge are racist. They are there to lower, or but I keep thinking it's not the population of blacks they're trying to lower. I'm thinking it's more to it, like to restart something that's going to be dirty, you know, to restart violence towards us, you know, go back to the chains. And I see they do that too. They doing that with black women. And I'm like, I'm not too young that I don't remember they did that with black men as well, you know. And I'm not talking, it's not white people, like a normal white person. This is some people who are in charge of that racism stuff to keep it going in America. Make sure whites hate blacks and blacks hate whites, you know. And yes, it's the devil. It's the devil. I'm gonna cut from there, and I'm gonna go to another point. Um, Black women had a lot of people up there, a lot of shows where, black women in Hollywood would change the mindset of black women not in Hollywood, and black woman who is not in Hollywood would get upset. And I said, oh my God, black men in Hollywood did that to black men, and black men got upset. The same way back in the days. That's a reboot. Now they doing black women against black men. I'm going to explain. Because black men was going to college, right? Being athletic back in the days. And you'll see basketball players, football players. And if you look at them old films, and they'll tell you, a lot of them marry white women. And that was a thing where black women used to get upset, And then they're like, why are you going to marry a white woman? And it's like, oh, because a black woman would drag me down. That was back then, y'all. They just went to another gender, And it's not the normal white person. It's not your normal white brother and sister who working each day and, scrapping with you. No. These are some hierarchies. They was in charge of that. And let me tell you, they not just white, they black too. They Latin. They all races. It's a coalition of race developers to make us hate each other. I'm going to touch on those bastards One day in the video, I'll let y'all know. But they slick. They slick. Racism is money. And it's funny too. But back to my video. The most beautiful angel on this earth, Now, when I say it's about the clothing, let's go back to a point where the Bible and Adam and Eve situation, as I said, we don't know how long Satan was speaking to Eve, right? We don't know how long it took him to convince Eve to do what she did, And I said, it's not throwing rocks at Eve, because Eve, people try to say Adam and Eve was innocent, meaning like a baby. A baby don't know what they do because they're a little dumb. No, please. Adam and Eve was smart as hell, smarter than Solomon, and we know Solomon was considered a wise and bright king. Adam and Eve was perfect. Adam and Eve was like, I'm going to say it like this. Christ Jesus, when he came to earth, right? Yeshua came to earth as a man, right? In man form. And he performed miracles and stuff like that. All the miracles that he performed, let's say not all of them was God miracles. They was perfect man miracles. Let me say, like walking on water. A perfect man could do that. Without sin. A perfect man could go without sin. This is why when I'm saying he gonna bring man back to perfection, that's what the Messiah is supposed to do, bring man back to perfection, when the new world comes. So Adam and Eve, what he did was show an example of what Adam, and notice it wasn't no Eve, there was no female had to come back, because Eve and Adam was one being. God put Adam to sleep, took the rib from Adam and created Eve. And spirituality, let's go to spirituality. Spirituality, they call that twin flame, one soul for two people, split into two. So, people could say, oh, don't mix. Shut the hell up. There is a mixture between both. Just like we see the Lord of the Rings, right? And all these other things start sprouting out, from that concept. Yes. All of it adds up. All of it adds up, But as I'm saying this, and you could use this in church and anywhere you want. When God, after Eve was convinced to eat from that tree of forbidden, with the forbidden fruit, the knowledge of good and evil tree, when Eve was convinced to eat from that tree, whatever she saw, and whatever Adam saw, it changed them. Not physically, but mentally. And I don't know what she saw. You think about it, maybe she saw us. Maybe she saw the future. Maybe she started seeing, maybe they were dumb to a point of not knowing what we could be. Her children, her offsprings, to what they was going to do to us. Maybe they saw that. Maybe they explained that. But they just, and it hurt them. And being empaths, they felt our pain, And I'm going to tell you why. Because when Adam and Eve, when God started looking for them, they was hiding. And he said, "Where are y'all? Why y'all hiding?" And they replied, "Because we're naked." And he said, "Who told you was naked?" Where they get that word from? Where they get naked from? You know? I think they saw us. And they felt what we would feel like if you take a person's clothes off and run around today. All of us would look and go, "What the hell? That person's lunatic. They're naked." You know? I think they saw us. They saw what we was going to do, what we was going to become. And it bothered them because they know of a world of beauty. They don't know of this disaster. You know? Maybe they kept talking about it for their life, but remember how things could get lost within time? You know? And another issue that I'm pointing out is like Lucifer, when he spoke to the serpent, he told her something. It was envy, because that's what he used. But it takes time to build that up, to make somebody feel like somebody's a liar. You know, sometimes it's quick. The person's got a small mind, but I'm telling you, it must have took some years. Who knows? Maybe 1,000 years. You know, for all that to happen. But because remember, Adam and Eve, Adam named all the animals on the planet, all that stuff. You know, they named them and all that stuff. You know, so it must have took so long. But back to the point that I'm gonna make about the clothing and stuff. So they was naked. They told him that they was naked. They told the father that they was naked. And he said, "Who told y'all that?" You know? And then he knew what they was feeling. So you know what he did? And we don't take into account of it. You know what God did, what the Most High did for them? He made them clothes. He made the first clothes for man. He made them clothes, y'all. What did he make them, y'all? Make them a Gucci suit? What? Gave us some Prada shoes and stuff. You know what I'm saying? He made clothes. He made clothing for them. So you know he made shoes, he made everything. You know. But I bet you a whole bunch of y'all will be thinking that he put a fig leaf or or some rags or some kind of dress or something. He made them clothes. And you know, clothes get dirty. They said he made them clothes. Maybe he made a whole wardrobe for them to wear. So God was the first designer of clothes. Who was watching? All his sons was watching. And Lucifer was watching. And he was like, yes. I'm going to use that against them. I'm going to use all of that against them. But he knew he couldn't do it too much to Eve and Adam. Especially Eve, because she was hip after that. She was like, you... And Adam got to be hip because Eve educated him. Yo, don't trust that. So he waited until they expired. He waited till they expired. I'm telling y'all, he waited till Adam and Eve expired, and also their belief. So, what he did, If you look in the book of Enoch, they talk about how angels came down and slept with the daughters of man, right? But they go into detail and describe what the angels look like in the book of Enoch. In the regular Bible, they tell you that it happened, that they took the form of man. Now, I'm going to tell you this, perhaps the Most High, right, the Father walked away from Earth, went to make the other planets, the other universes and stuff, and perhaps he left his sons in charge, because that's what they was for. That's what they was created for, to watch over man. And let's say the oldest was supposed to be watching over and stuff, which Lucifer is one of the oldest. And let's say he waited his time. So while he was in charge, that's when they did that. Now, Eve's daughter, right? Eve's daughters, like Eve and Adam was gone. Let's say they've been gone for many, 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 many years. And they took the daughters of man and they slept with them, and they made the Nephilim, because their offsprings became titans and demigods. They didn't they didn't possess of man, like a spirit possesses a man. No, they created themselves as an image of man. And the book of Enoch says that the image that he took was a man that was not seen on this earth. They described the blonde hair and the blue eyes. So are they saying that every man was a black colored man or something? We don't know. But racism uses that, racism uses all of that. And as I told you, that group, that's one of their little cliques they're using. So skip all that racism stuff. But they did sleep with the daughters of man. Now, I have heard people talk about Lilith as being the first Eve. And I'm like, nah, y'all. Eve was Eve. Eve came from Adam, And if you say Lilith walked with Satan, right? Let's say this, right? Lilith could have been, like, let's say, generations down, a daughter of Eve. And let's say when Lucifer took the form of a man and came to earth, Lilith was the first woman he wooed, that he inspired to be with him. And she became his wife. The very first woman to go and lay with an angel. And the very first angel to do it was Lucifer. So she birthed the first, titan or demigod. So that's how you get Lilith, a great-granddaughter of Eve or something. But she was the very first one, And then others followed, how is it, Dana? I forgot the name of the others. But let's say that followed, right? Now, with all of that, what did he use? He used, if you go to the book of Enoch, they say that he taught women, even in the Bible, I think it mentions, they taught women how to do makeup and stuff like that. And why would you teach them to put on makeup and stuff like that, and how to design yourself? Why was that important? Once again, to be the most beautiful angel on this earth, to make the woman look better than her sisters because she's using a product, something to enhance her beauty, something to design herself, just like we use the clothes. So they, all of it falls into line of what was used, this material thing, like even the competition for a woman. Now think about it. All these women are flocking to the Nephilim, the sons of the angels, and they was leaving the men behind, the daughters, the sons of Adam and Eve, to be with the sons of the fallen. So, and these men, these fallen, these Nephilim was ruling over the men. They was controlling the men and making the men into their, how you say, their servants, their worshipers, because it was much stronger, much bigger, and they had abilities that man didn't have. So what that was is a competition. So everything they had, like, made them be high value in the eyes of the women. And even men is doing it today, with all the cars and all the money and stuff like that, and all the material goods, is making himself be high value in the eyes of the women, and as I'm saying, like, men who like women, will do what he can to present himself to a woman that he's better than his brother, just to gain the woman's attention. Like, we look at a lot of stuff that's invented today. A lot of stuff that's invented today is for men to fight and compete against another man so that he could have something that his brother don't have. And I don't care what race you are, and his brother don't have, so that he could get a better, looking better amongst the women, and it's sad, I mean, like, and now even they'll talk about life, like, she don't have, she have too many kids or whatever. Dude, that's how we all got here. She got kids, okay, more life, okay, she got life within her, she made life, oh, several men, okay, then there's several a-holes who did her dirty. Yeah, you could say she's stupid, but there's several dudes who made her stupid because of her heart. Now, not all the time it's stupid because of her heart, sometimes because she just can't control herself. But if we know her to be a good person, then there's several dudes who did it, who messed with her heart. And we bring down the value of people because of material things. And that's what I'm talking about. We're telling people that they are not of value because of material things. And I've seen people say, you know what, I don't give homeless people no more. And it's like, why? I say, because the dude was wearing Nike sneakers and stuff like that. And as I said in the Most Beautiful Angel of Earth video, that the donation bins for the clothings that they put in. Some people throw, they throw expensive Nike shoes. Or, hold up, excuse me, sorry about that. Some people throw away, like expensive clothing that they don't throw away. Some people donate those clothing, and they put them in a bin. And some people will buy clothing that's inexpensive, that not of a brand name clothing, but they clean and and the homeless people would not even wear that. They would throw it away because they're used to the fashion show of pretending that they got it. So they end up missing out on a donation from or a handout from someone because they're wearing attire that looks like that is expensive, and the person they asking is already cashing it in. Like, ching, ching, ching. That's $1,000. That's $500. That's $600. What the hell you ask me that to give you? If I got some money or some spare change, you got an Armani suit on. This is what's happening, and it's because they are fronting, as we used to say back in the days. They are, and they call it flexing, and they don't have it like that. But their mindset is to fake it, and they don't have a home. They don't have anything. They're in poverty, and they were in that dire straits of poverty. Of back in the days, we used to say a bum. And now they cut that out, which is really ridiculous. But these people they're still stuck in that mindset, just like excuse me, just like we are, just like people who are not homeless. They're still stuck in that mindset. Even in their situation, they're still stuck in a mindset of they have to pretend, they have to act of value when, by these material items. And Satan is laughing. Satan uses that to get people to do what he wants them to do, be what he wants them to be. Like, you hear some people, today they would say, oh yeah, I'll sell my soul. You give me $1 million or give me a several amount. And it's all to be the most beautiful angel on earth. To be admired by so many people. To be admired by who? Your brothers and sisters. And people could say, oh, no, it's not. No, it's not. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Because if you're driving around with the most expensive stuff in the world, the most expensive car in the world, and that car costs $2 million. So let's say it could be I'm just going stupid. $1 billion car. You're driving around in a $1 billion car, and there's nobody on earth but you in that $1 billion car driving it around. All right, it's sweet, it's sweet, it's sweet, it's sweet. Yeah, it's fancy, it's sweet, drive smooth, but it's not worth $1 billion. Do you know why? Because I'm not there to admire it, and neither is nobody else. You need people to admire you. If all of the angels didn't admire Lucifer and his beauty, maybe he wouldn't have been like he was. Maybe if they had ignored him, maybe he would have been okay. just don't know. But everything is to be admired by your brothers and your sisters. Everything. And he come this video, but we have done it to ourselves. We have done it to ourselves, just so that we could be the most beautiful angel on this earth, to be worshipped, to be admired, to be a star. You know, I've seen people today just constantly doing everything they could to shine so that everybody could say, hey, look at them. Look at them. And then you see these people just, they expired. Everybody expires. And sometimes people don't even remember your shine but so long, you know. And they forget to love. They forget to love. You got some people right now that could have married somebody that loved them, and somebody, that same person they was in love with, but they end up marrying the other person because of the material things. I had friends that said, oh yeah, because you gotta be like this. Nah, that was rich people stuff back in the days. We have read many stories about the kings and queens, dukes and duchesses, and they wanted to keep the money to themselves because they want to keep being the most beautiful angels on this earth. So they only married rich, and they made sure their children married the rich. It wasn't that the person could have been. We seen a Game of freaking Thrones. I mean, we watched that, right? And that's always showing you a clear indication that was truth. They'll marry the rich to be the rich, and that rich person could be a psychopath, and they're like, no, so what? He's a psychopath or she's a psychopath, but they're rich and we want to keep our lineage wealthy, so you do what you have to do, and they spend their time with the psychopath. Sometimes it ends them real quick, but and this is what's happening today, and the influence of, I don't know, just too much, and it's a lot of stuff to go over. It's a lot of stuff to think about, but that's more about what I was trying to say when it comes to the most beautiful angel on this earth, is that how we are taking something that Lucifer used against us, that he knows that was done and designed, and he could use against us because of the mindset that he had installed within us from before. He knows that you're afraid. He knows your fear of that. He knows that you would fight to have this and fight to have that, and that he uses that against us. When some of us say, nah, I'm not going for it, that tosses a monkey wrench, that you got moral value. Sorry, this thing keep ending. Yeah, he makes sure that we keep our desires going. He'll make it happen through our brothers and sisters, make sure that they keep us desiring to be the most beautiful angel on this earth, to compete with each other, to keep enforcing, that you get the clothing, you get the things that is material, to show your value in this world, you know. And it's sad, but that's one of the sins that we have to get over. We're going to have to try to go back to love, to identify how we work with each other, how we associate with each other, and stop looking at what another person have as their quality of a person. You know, you could have the latest and stuff like that, but don't try to degrade a person because they don't have it. Don't try to enforce that another person gets it, because that's helping the influence of Lucifer. I hope this helps. And I hope that with your own individual mind, you could understand and add to what I'm trying to say. Because we are individuals and we are here to help each other. And we are here to inspire each other, not in a bad way, and not to be a puppet of the person or the being or the thing that made us hurt each other. Take care, my brothers and sisters, and God bless.